back. I'm Courtney, and this is the Accounting Struggle, where we speak about our struggles with accounting openly and honestly. We do not run from them. And y'all, this is the last video of 2020. What's good? Oh my God, I'm so excited. So if you are new here, hey girl, hey. Welcome me. If you're returning, oh my God, thank you so much for being here again. It's been too long. I hope that you all had amazing holidays and time with family and fun and fellowship. And if you didn't, totally get that too, because it's been a year. And so I'm just grateful that this is the last video of 2020. I'm not grateful like it's ending or anything. I'm just like, wow, we really made it. I mean, it's only what's today, the 29th that I'm recording this, but we made it. And so that's saying a lot, because this year has been, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, but yeah, we've made it to the end and God is good. So today's video is going to be pretty impromptu and straight to the point, just kind of an opinion piece, as I like to call it. I am not going to be before you long. I just want to talk a little bit about the differences between the 150 credit hours and just taking a look at, should you get your master's for the extra 30 credits that you need, or should you get, just double major? Should you just pick up a few extra courses? So that's what I want to delve into today. Before we get started, yes, I am giving you beanie realness, and it is because the accounting struggle, the hair struggle, it's all the same. If you're watching this and you are a weave or wig maker and you'd like to send me a piece, I am not gonna argue with you. My post office box awaits. It's been real, y'all. It has been so real. So that's why I have this hat on, because I can't tell you what's going on under here. It's an entanglement. So yeah, okay, let's get started. So if you are pursuing your CPA and you are wanting to, get licensed or do the whole process of taking the exams, getting qualified for that, as you know, most states do require that you have 150 credit hours. Now, your bachelor's degree, if you get your bachelor's or a certificate or whatever in accounting, your bachelor's degree is only 120 credits. So with 120 credit hours, you are now qualified to sit for the exam, but you do have to have 150 credit hours to become licensed. So there's no point in sitting for the exam if you never plan to become licensed. That's insane. I have never heard of that. That's out of control. Would not recommend. 0 out of 0 stars. Don't do that. So, but if you are like, yeah, I'm going to be a CPA, the whole purpose is to go forth and actually get the license and not just say you passed all 4 sections. That would be wild. So if you wanted to do that, you do need, in most states, and I'm not going to go through the list of which ones are on and which ones are not, but I will link in the description some resources that you can look into to check if your state is one of the states that require 150 credit hours. It probably is. So the point is, you do need an extra 30 credits. And so some people will go back and forth with the idea of, well, if I need an extra 30 credits, I may as well just get my master's degree. I can get a master's in accounting, I can get my MBA, what have you. And to that I say, yeah, you can do that, or you don't have to. Some people will double major. Again, I'll link some resources in the description box if you want to kind of go through and see what your state's requirements are. Typically, that additional 30 credit hours is not specifically saying that you have to go get another 30 credit hours in accounting. There are a certain amount of undergraduate courses that you will have to take in accounting, and they will specifically address which courses you have to take, how many hours in each one, and which accounting, like it'll say some have to be in tax and some have to be in audit, and they'll tell you exactly what you need for your undergraduate courses. Now, for the additional 30 credit hours, it's a little bit more flexible. So what a lot of my friends did when they were in college, they would pick up a double major and they would do like accounting and finance, or accounting and economics, accounting and statistics, accounting and human resources, which was another one. So they would keep it in the School of Business, but doing another major allowed them to make up that one or reach that 150 hour threshold without having to go back and get their master's. So when you're looking at which one makes the most sense or which one you should do, I say it really depends. Obviously, I'm going to say it depends. That's always the answer when it comes to accounting. But the reason I say it depends is it really, really does depend on a lot of different factors. So do you need to, or is it more desirable or more admirable, or are you more respected if you get your MBA or if you get a master's in accounting? I don't think so. No. I feel like if you want to get your master's because that's something that you always desired for yourself, that's always been the goal, and you have the coin, you have the funds to sit through another program that is of that type of cost, by all means go for it. It's essentially the same amount of work. It's the same amount of credit hours. So if you are like, well, I might as well, if I'm going to do 30 credit hours, I might as well just get my master's. Money is not an issue here. I am wealthy and life is great. Then yes, do that. There's nothing like having the master's in accounting. I mean, that's great. It's a phenomenal idea. I know many people who have done that, and they actually are able to offer some specific accounting courses that you wouldn't really have the option to take at the undergraduate level. So for example, when I was working at a CPA firm, the one client that I remember, the first time I ever cried at work, I was working on this partnership return with one of the seniors that was working on the return with me. We had to do this really complicated concept called a 754 step up in basis and recalculate all this stuff because one of the partners had left and new parties had come in, and it was just a lot. And I had not, prior to this scenario, I had not encountered that type of situation. And all of the undergraduate courses that I took for my accounting degree, I took regular tax and then I took advanced tax. And 1 week of advanced tax, I think there were 2 courses, like 2 days, like a Tuesday and a Thursday course. And that's how much time I think we spent on partnerships. Like, it was literally that fast. Like, here's a 1065, here's how it works, partner gets this. It was very quick. There wasn't a lot of information on it. I didn't really get to get that type of exposure until I started working in practice. Now, the CPA who I was working with, who was the senior on this project, was very knowledgeable on partnerships. She spent about a year working just exclusively on partnerships, but she explained to me that she took an entire class in her master's program on just partnerships. So she was able to really get exposure to more complex accounting topics, which obviously suited her. She wasn't the one crying, I was. So the point is, it's definitely a great thing if you are wanting to have more of a specialty and more of a specific, deeper knowledge and understanding of certain concepts in accounting, and you already kind of know what area of accounting you want to take a deeper dive in. Then again, if you have the money, definitely get your master's. You won't regret it. Of course, it looks great on your resume to say you have your master's. Like, who's not gonna want that? And you get to do the cute little like mastered it Pinterest type stuff when you graduate, and it's really cute. So I definitely recommend it if you can afford it, and if it is something that you have a strong desire to do. It's definitely going to benefit you having that additional knowledge and that additional experience in the topic of accounting. Now, if you go and you get a master's in something other than accounting, so maybe you get an MBA or you get a master's in, I don't know, whatever else people get masters in that's still business related, then I still feel like it will be beneficial, but it depends on what type of accounting work you're going to be doing. So it could actually benefit you if you're going the entrepreneurial route. If you get your MBA, obviously that will be very helpful. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, maybe running your own practice, or if you plan on being in the area of like C-suite and you want to go to the executive side of things in your career where you are working as, you know, a CFO, then again, this is something that would be helpful to you. Say you have your master's in finance, or just your master's in business administration. These are things that will still help you in that space if that's the route that you want to go. Now, it really just depends on what type of career you foresee yourself having, and it's kind of it's kind of difficult to have that type of determination really solid and like nailed down in your early 20s, which is where most people are when they're taking their master's. If you're a traditional student, I've said this before, I was not a traditional student, so I was pretty clear on what type of accounting route I was going to take I knew what my end game was pretty early on. So I didn't go the master's route. I do not have a master's. I have not mastered anything, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But we'll get to that in a second. So yes, if you can afford it, if you are willing to commit to that level of, because that's really one of the biggest deciding factors, is really like the money of doing a master's program. Not that taking an extra 30 course credits is not still expensive, but a master's program just tends to be more expensive. If you can afford to do that, and that's something that you've always had on your bucket list anyway, and you're like, oh, I might as well do that, I totally agree. That's a great route to take. It is certainly not going to hurt you. But I do think that there's this misconception that if you go the master's route, you are somehow seen as more of a CPA than people who don't go that route. And that's not the case. Now, if you are not getting your CPA and you're not going for any certifications, and we're strictly speaking on a person who has their master's, like a candidate who has their master's in accounting versus a candidate who has their bachelor's in accounting, and neither of you have any certificates, then yes, the master's is obviously going to give you an advantage over your competitors. But if you are both going up for a role and both of you have your CPA, no one really is looking at, and I don't work in HR, but I don't believe that it matters that you have how you got that extra credit. Like, no one cares about that. They care about the license, the certificate. Do you have it or not? That and your experience, those are the things that are going to be holding the most weight. So if you're thinking, oh, I have to get the master's because that's going to make me look better, so that's the way I should go to get to my 150 so I can sit for my CPA, I disagree with that. If you're getting your CPA license anyway, and that's the goal, once you have that plus your experience, those are the things that will matter. So just wanted to get that out there. Now, do I think that it is a good idea to not get your master's and just still, if you can't afford to do that, or if you don't really have any desire to do that and you're like, I'm not getting my master's, I'm done with this, I just want to do the 150 credit hours, the bare minimum, get me there so that I can get, to my 150 so I can take the exam. We're here. That was me. I was not doing master's. So how I got to my 150 credit hours was I went to school online before I ever started in accounting, before I ever thought that I would be an accountant. I was going to school for business administration, and it was actually like a focus on fashion merchandising. Don't know where I was going with that, but that was my life. I did that and I had like 89 credits. So I had more than enough credits, and those were from an accredited university. So my state, they met the requirements for that. So by the time I enrolled as an accounting major and decided I wanted to take the exam, I knew that all I had to do was get my bachelor's, which is 120 credit hours, and I would have enough credits to then sit for the exam and become licensed. So I did not even get a double major. I literally just have the one teeny tiny degree in bachelor's of accounting. That's it. Didn't do anything else. Not gonna do anything else. I'm done. No more school. No more. No. Finished. So I say all that to say, I don't feel like less of a CPA as a result of not having gotten my master's. But like I said, I was the one crying because I didn't know how to do the 754 step up in basis, not the other person who had their master's. So this is not shade to all of the people who have their master's. I'm simply saying it doesn't matter. If you want to get to the 150 and that's your primary concern, and you don't necessarily have a desire to be a master's student or to pick up that extra degree, then I would say look at your state's requirements, look at what school or what other additional credits you're looking into, and if they meet the requirements. That's the most important thing. Make sure that they meet all of the requirements per your state, that they're accredited the way they're supposed to be. double, triple check, maybe even call them and say like, are you sure these are good? Because I want to just make sure before I take them, you know. Do that. Pick up, if you can double major, that's great. It's always nice to have that exposure. I think accounting and finance go like peanut butter and jelly. They're perfect together. But also accounting and economics, or accounting and business administration, these are all things that mesh well together. If you can major in 2 of those, or if you can just pick up some additional courses that are still in that realm of business, that will help you to expand your business knowledge in general, and that will be very useful to you. So many people did not start off as an accounting major. They started out in like psychology, got their degree, their undergrad from that, and then they came and they did a certificate program. So a post-baccalaureate certificate, that's one of the things. I don't know if every state recognizes this, but that's certainly the route that many people who I went to school with, they did that route. That was enough of their credits, so they were able to meet the requirements that way. So it really just depends. Everybody's journey is going to look different, but the purpose of this video is to just emphasize that if you are getting your CPA, and once you have it and you have the license and you're like, hey, I'm a CPA, people are not going to say, but wait, how did you get your 150 credit hours? Did you get your master's, or did you? I mean, if you want to throw it in there and you have that extra knowledge, by all means, you should flex because you worked hard for it. But don't right there. So I hope that you found this video to be helpful. If you did, be sure and give it a thumbs up. And yeah, that's it for 2020. I will be back in 2021. God willing, and I'm so excited because I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I have some things in the works I'm very excited to share with you guys. And yeah, so I'll see you in 2021. Thank you so much for all the support. This channel has grown so much in a year, and I just wow, it's a great life. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Happy New Year.